The hope today will be to get the other half of the rooms, which are circuits 9, 10, 11, and 12. We're going to splice into this line right there where it crosses. We're splicing into that. Do not use this as a reference. I am not a licensed electrician. I am not a I am not a legal advisor on this type of field. I simply worked in the field for a year, and I had a formal teaching on it, but I'm not any certified person. But this is what I understand. I've had people confirm this for me that are licensed, that are in that field today currently. So do not take my word for it. Do the homework. Call or consult your local electrician, and just, if you are not comfortable or if you think I am the answer, do not. This is just a vlog. I'm doing this because, I mean, the channel is called This Millennial. Well, I'm still debating on the name, but I think This Millennial will do. So with that being said, we're going to get to splicing this. I'm going to turn the lights off because that circuit connects to the lights in the hall. So one moment. Alright, we're in total darkness. Thank goodness it's daytime for me. Also, if you're going to work on something, such as if you're going to work on anything in the dark, have a headlamp. I don't have one, and I should get one. Just don't follow the advice of an amateur DIYer, homeowner, whatever. Don't do something you're not comfortable with. Line is dead, and I confirmed earlier that this is my line. So, enjoy a montage of me cutting up wires. I just cut the wrong wires. Or I shouldn't say the wrong wires. I just cut the three-way wire for the outlets, which tells me power is going in here somehow, somewhere, which means I did not pick the right cable. And now I'm curious, so we'll be back. Alright, update. So, I just found out this is working. The splice is good. Well, from the splice itself actually works, because here's my extra cable that I'm getting power for. Right? Problem. Somewhere in here, it's nicked. So, now it comes the part of troubleshooting this garbage of my work, because I'm pretty sure it's just this wire is short, like has a short of sorts. Worst comes to worst, I'll run a secondary wire to that box just to save myself some time. To the light, I mean. So, yeah, let's get to it. So what am I doing? I am testing a theory. I think I might have pinched the wires too tight. So here's to hoping I don't screw this up. Let's take you for a trip. Plus you give me some lighting. Okay. Light works. We're gonna see if there's power here. There's power. Which means this should have power. Oh. It did? I'm not sure. I'm about to find out. Come back to life. I kinda need you. No. Okay, well, the idea was that it was probably pinched too hard. So. Ah! Okay. Okay. So, okay. It makes sense. And it just clicked to me. Because, I'm so stupid. Well, hopefully a 15-foot run, this will still make it. If not, I will have effectively wasted 15 bucks on wire. So, I know where the three-way goes. The three-way goes in here. Now, you think that that's that wire, but in fact, it's not. I had been trying to figure out where this three-way was going. And I've been trying to figure out where this 24 volt, why I was getting 24 volts. I'm thinking, voltage drop, that doesn't make sense. Why would I get voltage drop? Why am I missing out a whole 100 volts? And it clicked to me finally. The reason I'm missing 400 volts is because, 100 volts is because there is a light in here that gets converted to 24 volts. So where that power is coming from is coming off of a converter pack that's actually powering these lights here. That's how they're getting so small power, which, I mean, A, that's great. I don't have to worry too much about that. But B, I now know that that's where it's coming from. It would make sense why I'm getting 24 volts. Because, well, I think it's coming off of a pack there. I'm pretty confident it's coming off of a pack. So. Alright, update time, finally, because I'm done, and I know I didn't record it all. It really isn't about, I mean, it's basically what I was doing to this wire, but I did it to another wire, and I'll show you where, but otherwise, we closed up this junction box because that was pushing a low voltage to a power pack somewhere else, which didn't make sense. These lights don't run off of 120 exactly, they're running off of an inverter. So yes, you still power them up with a 120 wire, 120 volt wire, to whatever amperage you're using. But they have inverter packs inside the ceilings that the wires connect to, and they just step the voltage down, which explains why I was getting 15 volts on on hot and neutral, and 24 volts on the hot and ground. So what I did was come over here, I got my wire that I needed, spliced into it, pulled the wire all the way into this little junction box up here. As you can see, it runs down. This now powers also the light that I'm going to put up here, because I need light in here anyways. But this now also traces all the way out here, as I suspected. This line, it didn't make sense why there was more neutrals and more hots in there than it needed. That should have been a dead end, but instead what I guess the contractor was trying to do was run power all the way from that one line all the way around and then into here, which made no sense because, I mean, that's just doing a lot. That's doing way too much wires. And honestly, I'm very disappointed. I wish this would have been better thought out. And it's not like, you know, you see the drywall, you see the patchwork. This was all opened up. Why that wasn't thought through, I don't know. But I'm not going to continue ranting. I've already made that rant. I'm not an electrician, but even I know to always pick the shortest path if possible, just to keep it simple. As they usually say, as the phrase goes, keep it simple, stupid. So, yeah. This now, I mean, if just for proof of concept, right? Because, where's my voltmeter detector thingy? Or as some people would consider it, glow stick. Right? So this should be hot. And just so that you know, right, because you're probably thinking, is this on? It's actually in the off position, but just so you can see, there is current, right? Nothing. So when I flip the switch, still current, or rather, now it's got current. So that also just validates, like, okay, this isn't off of that switch to power this, thankfully. And realistically, I'm gonna put it on my little stand here. Realistically, I don't even know where I was going with that. Now I remember. Basically, you just want to make sure, as a rule of thumb, and maybe I should have a diagram drawn for this, but for anybody who's looking to even just do something simple, like what I did was pull wire, splice into other wires, and that can get very nerve-wracking, and it might not be the situation for you. You might just have an end wire, kind of like this. If, let's say, all that power was running here instead, running from the back over here, and there was just this end, and let's say, you know, you're trying to make sure that you're not toggling power elsewhere that isn't for a light, right? Let's say you just want to make sure the outlets, let's say that I have an outlet from here down, and you're not sure how to power it. It's not as difficult, right? We're talking about, we'll do it 2 squares. I'll do a little loop here, and then a loop here. That'll be my ground. Then I'll do another square for side representation. And yeah, so front, side. So realistically, I don't know if you can see that, so I'm gonna quickly look at the camera momentarily. Yeah, so realistically, if you're looking at the switch from the front, the toggle switch that goes up, down, right? Excuse me. General rule of thumb is that you always power top and then you go down. Now, before anybody jumps down on the comments, if there's anybody really thinking that if there's really a lot by the time some people see this, rule of thumb, always look at the box and just look for obvious signs. A lot of this equipment actually is fairly obvious to the folks, you know, people like me. Just if I gotta go to the store, buy a switch, it's gonna have obvious stuff. For instance, like an outlet will have black screw tops, and that's usually the indicator for put the black wire to the black tops if you need indications, and that's for an outlet. For lights, not so much. Most of the time, there's a toggle, so all it is that when power is connected, you have your little toggle here, right? And when it's down, the toggle doesn't connect to the other pin, but when it's up, it'll connect to that pin. So, yeah, usually you'll just have your line come in here, okay? And then that'll be your line, meaning that's power coming in or incoming power, right? And then you have this wire heading out, or your load or power sending out, right? And so this then gets controlled by the switch, right? If the switch is down here, right, it's not on, and there's a little bar. There's a bar that connects to it, and then like another bar, and you can YouTube how a switch looks internally, so you can see how they operate to a better visual representation. But for this is the best I can. I'm not the greatest artist, but basically when you flip the switch up, right, this bar here, let's say there's an imaginary bar here. Once you flip it up, it goes touching that contact and then sends the load, right, or power send out, whatever. And that'll control your switch. This isn't difficult. What we're mostly focusing on is this part, right? You need to make sure that, let's say there's an outlet that you need to power and you don't want it controlled by the switch. You need to make sure you wire it on this line coming in. You can splice them together, or in some cases, the light switch, excuse me, it has the similar things. They have screws that you have to tighten down. You can more than likely probably push it in, not to use the push pin, just there's a sliding portion where you can put the wire through and then tighten it down with the screw, and then you can send this power to outlet, okay? And that's how you basically wire power into a switch without having the switch control the outlet. And, well, I mean, I'm going on a rant here, basically. Effectively, I'm done. I can now call the electrical inspection for a rough-in check, and after that passes, I've basically just got to clean up the basement. I have a potential contractor. I don't know if it'll work out well. It's the hopes, right? So I'll be sure to I update you guys on that. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry if this became a two-part series, but I wanted to at least follow up and make it clear, what happened. It just, a lot of the stuff I have to figure out now that everything's done, and unfortunately, like, if everything wasn't done, it would have been 10 times easier, and I'm kicking myself because I should have probably done it myself, mostly, I'm looking at the work, and I'm just so disappointed, but it's also frustrating to have to try and figure this out. But if there's a takeaway, I don't want to be negative Nancy. If there's a takeaway, I'm just so glad that I finished it, I figured it out, I got what I needed done, and yeah, I just need to get the inspection. So thank you again for watching. I appreciate you sticking it out with me, and I was gonna do the drywall, and I might still do that drywall thing, right? I might still do the drywall closing myself. I've just put that up just so it's not so glaringly ugly. And I also put up this one. I just put a couple screws in so that it's working. But otherwise, it's, what's it called? I'm just going to take you off the stand because I just want to move around now. This isn't like the best securing, and obviously the holes here are not, those are pre-existing holes. And I quickly learned that it would have been better just to make, screw in new holes. So for now, it's just holding the drywall. This is so flimsy, I could probably yank it with my hand. And obviously that is a similar concept. So, again, thanks. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I will upload another video, I guess, once I get the inspection done, mostly the rough-in inspection, and I'll kind of explain how that goes. I'm really getting interested in just kind of informing, at least for the Maryland area, how this whole construction business goes, especially since nobody wants to really talk or take the time to explain it. So I'm hoping maybe this, if it helps one person, I'm happy. I did my part. I'm glad, and that's all that matters to me, is that I can help somebody out there. These vlogs started as just kind of like little hobby, but they're starting to turn into something a little more interesting. But I'm glad I got it done. I didn't want to bother you with another compilation of what I was doing. It just would have been very boring, so I thought, let me just run this wire and then I'll give you the update. So take care, guys. I will be sure to let you guys know what happens next. All right, bye.